Welcome to the Employment Wednesday podcast with Yvonne Shabangu. Have you heard of the scripture Hosea 4, verse 6? My people perish because of the lack of knowledge. The same applies to your career. When you don't know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, you are likely to make wrong career choices. But worry not. Employment Wednesdays is here for you to offer you all the answers relating to your career and offer you strategies to develop your career. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of Law Without Borders with Yvonne Shabango. And today I am seated with the friend of the show, Rotondwa Mukwevho. Yo, guys, this is Vendasa. Sorry, friend. I'm sorry.
Friend. Why
I'm
are you
sorry.
embarrassing me?
I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm sitting with Rotondwa, who is an admitted attorney by profession, a former director, and currently a legal specialist, a labor law specialist. And yeah, she's a friend of mine. Friend, do you think I missed anything?
Well, you mispronounced my name and side name, so we can start there. The name is Rotondwa Mukwevho.
Okay.
Yes, but you're forgiven. I know that it's a bit hard for people to pronounce, so that's okay.
Okay.
You didn't miss anything, I believe, and if you did, I think it will unfold during
Okay.
the process.
All right. So before we go into the real stuff, we're going to go into some icebreaker questions.
Okay.
What is the last album you listened to?
Makazi.
Which one, friend? You can just say.
Boforo. The latest one that she dropped was the one I was listening to.
Did you listen to all of it?
Yes, actually, I did.
Okay. Did you enjoy it? Which one is your favorite song?
I think it goes Wahanane. Wahanan. That's all I can say from the song because
Okay.
I just listened to it recently, like the entire album, and so far that's the song that has constantly been in my head.
Okay.
So yes, I am a Makazi fan.
Okay.
Die for her.
All right. All right. Love that. And if you were a drink, what drink would you be and why?
Water.
Why?
Everybody needs me.
Wow.
I like to be needed. I'm working on it though.
It's like we don't like the taste, we don't like it, but we need it.
You
Like we
need-
need to hydrate.
Yes.
All right, love that. What did you have for breakfast?
A smoothie.
A smoothie.
Yes.
Okay. When you were on your way here, what were you listening to?
I was on a video call with my cousin.
Okay.
So I was not listening to anything. I was listening to her stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's cool. So now we're gonna go to the real stuff, right? When you were in high school, what did you want to be?
A chef.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you end up in law?
Thing is, ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, right?
Okay.
I think, when you're still like in grade R and you do the whole recital, especially for graduation.
Sure.
When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. So that was me.
Okay.
I wanted to be a lawyer when I was younger. So that all changed when I was in high school.
Okay.
And when we were in grade 10, you get to select subjects. And I was like, okay, if I want to be a lawyer, I don't specifically need a lot of subjects. I just need great marks,
Sure.
right? So I chose hospitality studies, business, and geo.
Okay.
Of course, none of it made sense, but it didn't need to make sense. So during that time, that's when like my love for the kitchen developed, and because I've always known how to cook. I was
Yeah.
always good at it, but I didn't love it
Oh,
until
okay.
like in grade 10 during hospitality studies. And then, yeah, hey, I was like, I actually really enjoy this.
Okay.
The theory part of it was also very intriguing. Like, there's so much you can learn about food, not just the nutrients, but what a particular like what consists of pasta, you understand, or rice or cereal, So it was very intriguing, and that's where my love for, food
Okay.
grew. And when I went to I was in grade 12. I told my parents I wanted to go to culinary school, and they're like,
Are you mad?
no. So I ended up just applying for my LLB because other than being a lawyer, I've never like before wanting to be a chef, I never wanted to be anything else.
Yes, you
So,
never thought of any other career
yeah,
options.
it felt organic to just follow that because that's what I've always wanted to do. And yeah, that's how I ended up studying law.
Okay. You
And
started at the University of Limpopo, ne?
no, the University of Venda.
Oh.
Two different entities.
Oh, really? I always
Yes.
thought people just say Venda because it's a short
No.
name. So University
It's
of
the
Venda?
University of Venda, which is in Tando, which is where I went to varsity. And then there's the University of Limpopo, which is in Polokwane.
Oh.
Yes, that side of Polokwane. I think it's in Mankweng,
Okay.
but same area.
Okay.
So yes, two different institutions.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yes.
we learn every day. Hey? So why did you apply go University of Venda? Didn't you want to, like, everybody always wants, like, to move out of home, and you decided to stay home. You could have applied at UJ, UTC,
I did.
and all of that.
I did. I was accepted to quite a number of universities, like Northwest, Fort Hare, UJ, and the University of Venda and the University of Limpopo. But during that time, I was going through like a lot of, what can I say, self-discovery. I think as we all are during that time. But like for me, like, guys, I'm easily influenced.
Sure.
Still am. Like, still am. If you tell me, friend, let's go to Cape Town right now, and I have the money, I'm not going to reason it. We're going.
Sure.
So because I've always been so prone to peer pressure, I knew that the further I went from home, I might not finish.
Wow. You know what? It's so crazy that you say you were going through self-discovery, but you actually knew yourself. Because another person could have said, I just want opportunities. It doesn't matter. But you actually made a conscious decision to say, you know what? I want to go to Fort Hare, I want to go to UJ, but I can't go to UJ because of the personality that I have, and it may compromise me getting what I'm supposed to get at that institution.
Yeah.
I love that. It was very mature and brave because, yeah.
And there are a lot of decisions where I feel like if I was given an opportunity to like go back, I would change them. But that is the one that I still wouldn't change because I believe for me to even be here,
Sure.
that was a very crucial decision.
Sure.
Because even when I look at like the time frame it took me to finish and how like my entire road even to admission, that choice is like the cornerstone. It's like the
Sure.
foundation of it all. And it's still one that I wouldn't change. There's a lot I would change,
But definitely not
definitely
that.
not that one. Yeah.
All right. So now you're in university. How was your experience? Was law what you expected it to be?
Funny thing is I didn't have any expectations.
Okay, so you just went there, get a degree.
You know, it's not easy to have expectations of something you don't want.
Oh, I get you.
You understand? I think expectations come from wanting,
Sure.
and I lacked that.
Sure.
I was just doing it for compliance.
Okay.
You know, so I didn't have any expectations. Class was class. It was different from high school. You're not accountable to anyone. Nobody's gonna ask you, where were you yesterday? Did you do your homework? Did you submit your assignment?
Sure.
You understand? So yeah, it was just meh.
Okay. So how did you find it? Was it great? How was your university experience?
I think I had a very, um, I think my university experience is same like a lot of young girls, you know, you figuring yourself out in terms of friends. Because also learning that you will have different type of friends. You're gonna have class friends who are the ones that you know that, listen, if I'm with them, I will never miss my assignments. If I'm in a group assignment with them,
We always pass.
you get
Yeah.
navigating all of that and personal life and sports, because I used to play sports. I used to play tennis
Nice.
in varsity. But because then, like I said, I'm very easily influenced. I started, hanging out with my friends a bit more. Bad habits were, developed, and struggling to just find the balance between everything. So some things fell off,
Sure.
So yeah, but like I said, I think it's pretty standard for, an average varsity student to go through all of that. So
Sure.
I would say standard.
Okay.
A lot of bad mistakes that I would like to really, really undo if I could go back.
Sure.
There are a couple, but
It is what it is. So what is that one thing that university taught you where you were like, whew, this lesson was a hard lesson, but I learned it because I was in university?
The only person in charge of your life is you.
Shucks.
You don't owe anyone any explanation for doing what's best for you. Don't let other people impose their beliefs on you.
Sure.
And just keep it steady and honest with yourself.
Love that. Keep it steady and honest with yourself. I think that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've found yourself within. Did you know about articles? You were studying law. What did you think you're going to do after the law degree? What was your analogy or your reasoning?
Okay. So I had the opportunity to go to one of the best university when it comes to offering, LLB, like the entire program.
Sure.
And a lot of people might be like, but
Kick off in.
it's in Venda. But a lot of great lawyers, attorneys, advocates, judges went to the University of Venda. And why I would say it was the best, it's because from first year, you will be given a taste of what it actually is. So our teachers, our lecturers would encourage us, go to court, sit in, see what's going on, come back, tell us what happened. What was the case about? Even if it was just postponement, what did you learn? If it was a bail application, what did you pick up? You understand? And we used to have, we also had moot court, and we had legal practice. I forgot what it's called.
Was that PLT? Because I heard that
Yes.
also you guys get the opportunity to easily pass board exams because apparently you do some stuff, I don't know, in a
Yeah.
module or something. Like, is it a
Yes.
module or a whole thing?
It's a module.
Okay.
It's that you do in your last year.
Okay.
It's a year module. Basically, what you're learning is ethics.
Okay.
Paper one.
It's ethics, courts,
Yes, wills and
bookkeeping,
estates.
wills and estates.
Yes. The only thing we didn't do during my time was bookkeeping.
Sure.
But all the other modules we did. Everything you guys we did also in law school. We
You
had
had
already
already
done.
done.
That was
Oh.
my entire fourth year.
Okay.
Which is why we also had like a higher pass rate on board exams because basically I've been doing this since fourth year.
Sure.
Then I went to law school. I'm still doing it.
It's revision and then revision classes.
Yes.
Sure.
So yeah. So there was not much of a culture shock for me.
Okay.
When I went out into the world, it was like, oh, this is exactly how it was when we were at school.
Sure.
Except that now you're the one speaking. So yeah.
Did you know that you wanted to be like an attorney? Did you have an idea of the options you had? Or you just knew about attorney advocacy? Did you know that you could go in-house and?
So, okay. Um, there are a lot of things that I didn't know that you could do, like compliance. There are a lot of things that I didn't know you could do. But there's also a lot that we were exposed to.
Sure.
You understand? Like not just the traditional like attorney advocates. No. We're told like quite a number of things actually, which I do appreciate. I think for me it was just lack of interest.
Oh, okay. So it's like, let me just do the linear way. Let's just be an attorney. Okay. So Unali, you've got lack of interest. Before I go into that, was it easy for you securing articles?
Guys, nepotism.
So you knew someone who knew somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it's nepotism or anything. It's a thing of, I always say to people,
It's
be
connections.
connected.
Yes.
Talk to people. Tell people about your interest. To know, oh, you're a lawyer. It's fine. You can come serve under me or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand? Although, like, I did go through like a little, I think it was like a month, which was your guys were so draining, like having to go out there and like put yourself out there to say, hey, sorry. I'm a graduate. I'm looking for articles, and I think an experience that broke me that I don't talk about a lot was I once went to one law firm back in Tando, very like in our space in Limpopo, prominent attorney, great law firm, and he looked at me, and I was there like, you know, selling myself as a student. I mean, really, you don't have much riding on. You don't have experience, And he looked at me and he said, I don't hire pretty girls.
Hey, you know what? Like,
I think that was the first time wherein I felt that being pretty will also disadvantage you, because as a woman, you're always very objectified and sexualized.
yes, sure.
And his reason was that he doesn't hire pretty girls because he doesn't want any issues. And the reason why he'd have issues is because obviously it means
His
you're sleeping with
perspective.
them.
Sure.
You understand? And maybe you've had enough and you're trying to correct your ways. So, better keep them at arm's length, because if they're around, then, obviously it will lead to something. So that was soul crushing
Yeah.
for me at the time.
It must have been, because you're thinking, I don't have control of how I look. So now
Exactly.
am I
I
supposed
can't
to
change that.
change my appearance? It's one thing when you say you can't hire me because I don't have a qualification. I could go get a qualification.
Yeah.
You can't hire me because maybe my CV had a spelling error. I could go fix that. But now, if you're saying you can't hire me because I look a certain way, then it's problematic.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite a concern, because I was listening or watching another interview where one female said they also feel objectified, where things are said about them, and it's like, but when you think about it, you want to work because you want to grow in your career, but you also want to serve the profession and stuff. But now you're in a space where you're fighting the unemployment rate. You're fighting now, you have to dress down because now you're going to be seen a certain way. You have to sort of change so much. It's really so sad that females have to go through so much. If there's directors of law firms and everything watching this, or companies, employers in general, I really think please go easy on women, or just treat women like you treat men. Like, it's just so sad that we're still fighting that whole equality thing, because I'm going to fight to get paid better. I'm going to fight to say, this is how I look. You have to accept me. I'm going to fight to be heard. I need to work 3 times harder. And I really think it's such a sad experience. And I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
It's okay.
Okay, sharp. You now then get your articles. How was your article experience?
The first, because I served articles in two different spaces.
Why?
Yeah, so I got an opportunity to serve articles in a small firm. I was connected by family friend, but they didn't have a budget for me.
Oh, okay.
So I was working for free in a way. And I had a car at the time, which was very beneficial for the firm because then it's like, oh, Rotondwa could drive here and drive there. And it was very draining to go through that and not get paid. I remember one day, like, it was month end, and I got money in, and it was 2,000 rand.
What?
Yeah. Reference salary. I was like,
No ways.
yeah.
So you use your car, you're moving around, your
Yes.
petrol,
Yes.
and basically you're being paid for the car. I don't even
Yeah.
for the car. It's not enough. It's not your salary. Like
exactly, it's the petrol
yeah.
that I use to run the errands. So yeah, and then I then got an opportunity to go serve my articles at the Human Rights Commission. They were piloting a program, which I think my group was the first and last, because I don't think they're still doing that. I served my articles at the Human Rights Commission.
Sorry to interject. Is it HRC or LRC? Because I have
SAHRC.
Oh, I think
South African Human Rights Commission.
Oh, okay, I
Yes.
see. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you guys were the last of it.
We were the first and the last.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they stopped. I think it was also just maybe a little bit too much admin for the organization, and it didn't really fall within their organogram, and they struggled to place them because. More than anything in government structures, it's very important to see which function and where you will fall under, and who would be responsible for you, how are they going to assess you, and all of that. And it just didn't exactly fit. So then, yeah.
Okay. So how long did you serve there?
For a year.
Okay. And how was that experience?
Different.
It was different.
Yes, because it's not your day-to-day issues you deal with in a private law firm. It's very specialized.
Okay.
You're dealing with human rights issues. You're dealing with basically Bill of Rights issues.
Okay.
You understand? And, guys, it's also draining because sometimes people come with you with problems you can't solve.
Okay.
You understand? I can't better your experience in terms of how you felt discriminated against in a certain situation. I can't, like, there's a lot you can't change. Communities don't have water. You understand? Children are not going to school. And in as much as it's a constitutional right, everybody has a responsibility to see that constitutional right is realized. You understand? A child has a right to school, but everybody else has the responsibility to make sure the child is at school. As a parent, your child his birth has to be registered. And that's responsibility number one. You fail to do that, you want your child to go to school. As a principal, they also have obligations and rights and certain laws they have to comply with. You can't have an unregistered child at school because then they're not counted when they do a head count of how many children are at school. You understand? If they're unregistered children, they're not catered for budget-wise. So having to deal with those issues was very different. And it took time for me to also appreciate that experience. because I think it also helped in me trying to find my way within the profession.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can imagine how it is. It's one thing reading about unemployment, reading about there's no water, there's no shelter, but it's another dealing with the person that is
Yes.
actually going through it,
Yes.
and they are expecting you to assist them, but sort of your hands are tied, or you have to follow this long protocol where this person is still going to go through 3 years
Yeah.
without water or without
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
And even if you try certain things, they may not work out. And, so I can imagine how how stressful that was.
Yeah.
So then how do you guys, with the where you worked with the Human Rights Commission, did you guys have like directors that supervised you, other attorneys? How did it work?
Okay, so yes, as a Human Rights Commission, a large number of employees there, in terms of like the provinces,
Sure.
would be also attorneys or advocates. Either way, you would be admitted to be a legal officer or a senior legal officer, and not always, but the manager, the provincial manager, most of the time would be an admitted attorney as well, with litigation experience, because we do litigate.
Sure.
We do go to court.
Sure.
When you hear a department was taken to court for a child drowned at school and all of that, those are also cases wherein the Human Rights Commission would also be involved. Access to healthcare, access to housing and all of that. Those are cases that would be involved in. So yeah, my principal was the provincial manager. So he was the one who signed off my paperwork with the LPC. And yeah.
He did your affidavit and all of that.
Yes. We draft our own affidavits. Like, guys.
But didn't you guys have precedents? I also drafted my own papers, but I used precedent.
Yes, but mine was not as generic as everyone else's.
Yes, I can understand. Your circumstances are unique.
Exactly. So, guys, it was such a challenge because I had to feature in things that no one else has to. You understand? Which means that my affidavit wasn't as generic as everyone else's. So, which was also difficult. And somebody, friend, can you send me affidavits? I'm like, okay, I'm going to send you mine, but I'm also going to send you the one that I also used so that you can see, because mine is very different.
Sure.
And during my admission, the judge had to set my matter down to say, because I needed to include a few things. And in my head, I was like, but I left them out because I didn't think they were relevant for me, but they're actually relevant for the particular process. So the judge was like, no, just going to set it down, not going to strike it off the road. I thank that.
Yeah, because they usually struck you off. They'll be like, no, in your date.
3 matters had already been struck off. And guys, there's nothing that will crush you than having your entire family in a courtroom for your admission and your matter struck off.
It's not good. It's really sad. It's not it.
It's humiliating. Because also probably you have a party planned.
Yes,
whether it's a dinner, a lunch on, you have something planned with your family. And to be told, not today, redo the whole thing.
It's not it. And I whilst we're on the chat of drafting papers, I highly recommend that you proofread your papers and submit your applications in advance, guys. So that if the LP sits on it, because one thing about the LPC, small mistake, they send you back. So if there's LPC sits on it, you have enough time to rectify it. You have enough time to fix the mistakes and also have different applications in front of you. Don't just use one, because what happens is, in Tlantazeta is funny, our luck is not the same, right? Rotondwa's application can get away with a minor grammatical error, and you take that and you just submit. Then yours can come back with so many questions, with so many fixings. So just make sure that you have different applications, you compare it to yours and proofread. I recommend that you redraft it on your own. like you have. Don't work on what's given.
Yeah.
Look at it and redraft. That way you're able to correctly see if certain sections of the
If they're still the same.
if they're still the same, they used correctly, and all of that. Because like now I know, apparently, I'm so glad that I escaped that. Apparently they have to do community service. Yeah, and back then when I got admitted last year, and that wasn't a requirement. Apparently you have to do a background criminal check. That wasn't a requirement for us.
That's because they used to do it. The LPC used to do it.
And then they
So-
stopped, and then
I think maybe it was just too much admin. Because think about how many applications they have to work on, and having to do criminal checks on everyone must have been a lot of admin. But they do. They used to do them themselves.
oh, so now it's like you have to do it yourself.
Yes.
So sort of lesser work for them.
Yes, and then you just present like a clearance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, now you have to do all of that. So yeah, I really highly recommend have your papers proofread. If you have advocate friends or whatever, ask them maybe to draft for you, whatever the case may be.
Or proofread.
So, yes, proofread. It's important that you have that. Okay, now you're admitted. You go and start your own law firm. Like, I mean, it takes. I feel like it takes audacity, because
It wasn't straight out of my admission though.
how many years?
It was because I worked at a firm as a partner.
But already that's some big moves. Like, okay, wait. Before we go to your own law firm, how do you move from just getting
A
admitted,
candidate.
just a candidate, and
Yeah.
then you make partner? God has faves.
Yeah, you would think that, right? And sometimes what can be perceived as, oh my gosh, this is a blessing, it's not.
Sure.
And that was one of those experiences. Although, like in terms of like gaining experience, it was great, because I go to walk in a room, and there was a white man that says, "This is Rotondwa, my partner," and he was a magistrate before.
Okay.
So everywhere we walked in, like it was always like, oh my gosh, they still referred to him as magistrate, even though he wasn't a magistrate anymore. And he'd all be like, "This is my lovely partner, Rotondwa," and it was nice. And we had a fallout, me and him, financial, and that's when I decided to start my own firm.
Okay. But also, was it in this? Okay, so you do your human rights, you serve, you get admitted. And then did they hire you as associate first, or you just became partner?
Partner.
No. No, Rotondwa.
I'm not kidding.
So did you apply for a partner post or what?
Guys, yes. One thing about me is, even now, I still do it. I still apply for things I'm not qualified for.
Sure.
One day somebody's gonna say, let's just call this person, and they give me an opportunity to speak, and you know what?
Okay.
I can sell myself.
All right.
So, yeah.
That is very interesting.
Honestly, I didn't have any of the experience that was needed. I walked in there and they asked me, what different thing do I think I bring?
Sure.
Because I obviously don't have the experience in terms of what they wanted. Do you understand? And I said, I am able to connect with people.
And I'm water. You need me.
You understand? That was my gift. I don't struggle with connecting with human beings.
Sure.
My struggle with animals, don't like them much.
Uh-huh.
But with humans, I've never struggled. I
okay.
think one of my superpowers is how easily I connect with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you used that to get yourself into the position. How long were you then a partner?
For a year and a few months.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
great.
I was given a lot of opportunities wherein my files, financially, I got the biggest cut. Like,
Oh, okay. You were bailing proper.
like if for my files which I brought in, I got to keep like a huge chunk of it. But then it became an issue when now the money's in the trust account. And now it always feels like you must be begging to get your money. And it was so emotionally draining.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then you went to start your own firm.
I did. I did.
How was, I want you to take me back to the day you decided to start your firm. What happened? What were you wearing? If you can remember it well, where you were like, get back in.
I was wearing pajamas.
Okay.
I was very depressed at the time. Didn't get out of bed for a whole week. I was staying with my then partner.
Okay.
And it was just a lot also for him to like see me go through. And it was actually his idea. He got me out of bed and he said, how best can I support you through the stage? And I said, I don't know. He's like, do you want another job? I said, I don't know. He's like, do you think working for yourself will help at this moment so that you don't have to deal with working for other people and feeling this way? And I said, maybe. And we lived with his assistant at the time. And he called him. We sat in front of our home office. And he said, let's register a firm. And I said, okay.
Okay.
And I just sat there and they did everything. It was almost like just watching other people make decisions for you.
Shucks.
But at the time, you felt that's what you needed to get out of the emotional pit you were in.
Sure.
So yeah, it's nothing romantic. It's nothing empowering.
It's nothing cute.
It's nothing cute.
Sure.
And yeah, that's how.
So
yes.
basically, you starting your law firm was actually something that removed you from a depressive phase.
Yes, and put me in a deeper one, but
What?
guys,
No, our profession is something else. Okay.
it's not for the faint-hearted
At all.
It's not for the
military.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
Okay. And then now you start your firm, though it's not cute and stuff. I'm sure you had really great days. How long were you running your firm for?
Oh. Guys, it depends if you mean full-time or
No. So how long did you run it for before you actually decided, I'm good?
I only decided that I'm good a few months ago.
Yes.
But it's been registered, I think, since 2021.
Since 2021.
Yes,
So
I've been
3
working on
years.
that. Yeah. And one would think that I might have the desire to say, you know what, let me, I don't.
Anymore.
And I think I never did. And I think that's what I struggled with, also expressing myself, and which is difficult for someone who's so outspoken. When you now find it difficult to express yourself, to tell people this is not what I want. I actually don't want to be here. I still feel this way. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. What I want to do, I don't have the support for right now. So I'm still here. So, yeah.
So it's like every single day you just showed up because that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but what is it what did you learn from running your own practice?
That if you don't take care of your mental health, anything can sink you.
Sure.
Even the tiniest little thing can sink you. And I think at the time I was dealing with a lot emotionally.
Sure.
And I think I was just lost most of the time. And now I'm finding myself, so
Okay.
yeah.
So basically running your practice was like it's important to look after yourself. Whatever you
Yes.
do,
Yes.
look after yourself.
Yes. Because more than anything, you're not gonna have the money for the operational costs. You're not gonna have the money to fund your files. And if you're not in the mental, like if you're not in a right mental state, you could even be suicidal.
Sure.
Because also you're not just failing yourself. There's a bunch of people who are rooting for you and who are so proud. They get to say, "Oh, this is my daughter.
She's a lawyer. She's a
No,
director.
she's a director of her own firm. You understand? Oh, this is my sister. Oh, this is my grandchild. Oh, this is my girlfriend. You understand? And having to keep up the charade for everybody else. I remember saying for me, the positivity is what killed me. The constant having to be positive. And I get the whole manifestation, be positive. But do people know how exhausting it is to be positive?
It can be.
Yo.
You know, there's a concept called toxic positivity where also some people end up placing you like it's almost as if you have to be in denial of your real circumstances. You have to keep on saying, I'm okay, just because people expect you to be okay.
Yeah.
You have to keep on saying, it's great to be a director just because you're female, you're black. You have to say that. Or you have to keep it going because you are the example. You are the template. So I can understand how that felt.
Yeah.
You know, it almost feels like when somebody is going through the most, then you say it as well. It's like you trigger them so much because it's like, what's well? Like there's nothing well, you know? So I can understand what you were going through in that season, right? So now, when do you decide that before we go to the darker parts, what is the most money you've made as a director of a emerging law firm? I don't like saying small law firms because it's so shady. But as an emerging law firm, how much did you make the most? Where you're like,
From one client.
no, generally 1 month where you all of your income where you were like,
It's hardly ever like that. So,
okay,
I'm gonna say from one client because the most I made during my time was from one client, and it was like 400,000, and it was all just for me.
what did you do with that money?
I'm ashamed.
Why wasn't I your friend at the time?
Girl, if you were my friend, like, listen.
I can imagine.
Listen. It was after I spent it on everyone who carried me.
Okay.
Spent it on my boyfriend. He contributed a lot into making sure that I settled that case, even financially.
Okay.
Like he contributed almost 100,000.
So do
which
you
he didn't expect back.
Okay. So on the other hand, that give me now how tell it.
Listen, yes, because then when I had that money, there was a point he'd be like, "Yo, I need 200,000 right now," and I'm like, "Cool, send it to him." You know, I definitely believe in giving men money if they deserve it.
Yes, where it's due.
Where it's due.
Okay.
Men are deserving.
Sure.
You know, there's this new drizzle trend that's going on TikTok. I love it because I think also if men also knew their worth, we all would also have a better quality in relationships. You understand? So yeah, spending on my boyfriend, spending on my parents, spending on my grandparents, my siblings. Listen, everybody was getting iPhones, everybody was getting laptops. And yeah, I blew it, but I wouldn't change that.
I love that. I love the way you're like, bottom line is I blew it.
I blew it. I blew it.
Okay.
But I still wouldn't change that.
All right. No. And then where do you then, at what point do you then decide to start looking for a different job where you're like, this is not sustainable anymore?
I lost the partner who supported me
Okay.
through all of it. And I think the feeling lost, that feeling that I felt when I started returned.
Okay.
And because I never dealt with it, now it was bigger. It was a bigger animal. And I couldn't keep up the charades anymore because my entire support structure was taken away from me.
Okay.
You understand? He was a big part of that support structure. And when he was then gone, my parents tried. Like, God knows, my parents gave it their all. It's just not the same.
Okay.
And I couldn't do it anymore. So I said,
You were just like, nah, let me start applying. So then what was your experience as you were applying for new jobs or different jobs? Did you want to be an attorney or you just like anything?
I just wanted anything.
You were
I
just,
just wanted out.
okay.
Yeah.
So then you started applying.
Yeah.
And then was it easy securing a job after you just closing? Because the person would think you're former director, so it must have
I
been
didn't
easy.
close.
Okay, so when you stopped like actively being in it in a way, I don't know if that makes sense. So, like probably previously you were proactive because you have this support structure. You're looking for clients and all of these things. But now you check out almost physically, but you're still operating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, was it then easy for you to be able to get a job when you had told yourself that now you want out?
I don't want to say it was easy, but I also don't want to say it was difficult because when you have something going on at the time, it's like applying for jobs when you have a job.
Oh,
Disappointments don't hit hard. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to form you. Cool, move on. But there was a pivot, like there was a point where I sat down and I had a conversation with God, and I said, if it's within your plans for me to still be alive, get me out. I want out. I need to get out because I am at a point where I'm all tapped out of will. And a week later, I got an interview.
Wow. Where we work now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I know how we feel about it, but it was God was answering.
God answered. God did. Yeah.
Yeah. He sense of humor, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's so beautiful. You know what I love? You acknowledging that, and I think that's the biggest lesson I got from this episode. What may seem like this big blessing, this glamorous thing to the society can be one of the things that place you in a darkest place of your life, and many times we see people show up, we see people looking good, we see your stamps, your commissioning stamps, we're like director, but we don't understand the effort it takes for you to wake up every day and show up as a director. So I really commend you for getting to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't have to make this work. Because some people fight. They will fight through until 20 years. You find that some end up being bitter, some it works out. But I love that you had to acknowledge that, you know what, this is done. This is it. And then before we close, what season of your life is this? If you had to name it.
Planting. So, like.
Nice, planting.
Yeah.
So you're busy, you're working by the farm.
Listen, we're the plantation. We sowing. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're praying for a better harvest.
I know the next time you come here, we'll be talking about your harvest season because that's on par. God doesn't miss.
He doesn't.
Absolutely love that.
He doesn't.
To a person at home in closing who may be in that dark place that you're once in, what is it that you hoped to hear that you want to say to them?
Have an honest conversation with yourself, really, about what it is that you want and how best you can get there. You don't have to stay where you are simply because that's where everyone thinks you should be.
Sure.
You understand? If you hate it, change it. The same
Love
way
that.
you won't keep eating food you don't like. Why do you keep nourishing your body with things it doesn't like, it doesn't appreciate? You know what your soul needs. You know what you want to make yourself happy. Have that conversation with yourself and start working towards it. Doesn't have to be drastic like it was for me. It can take time, but as long as you're working towards getting out.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I really love that. Thank you so much for honoring this invite.
Thank you
I,
for
I
having me.
really loved this. I enjoyed. I learned new things about you. Anyway, to everybody at home, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something from this episode. I did learn a lot, but my biggest takeout of this episode is that you don't have to stay in a dark place. Be honest with yourself, get yourself out, and also I think the biggest is that sometimes we get removed from situations because we're so codependent on certain support structures, right? So it's important that you have a great support structure, but also always understand that they may move away, they may change, and that can actually completely change you. So you need to be able to adapt to that. Without wasting any much of your time, do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And happy Employment Wednesdays. Always remember you are not alone. You are gracefully anchored. Happy Wednesday.